Hey, my name is Matt, and welcome to my channel, The Wonders of Wondering. So who am I and why do I have a channel? Well, I'm the son of a preacher, and I've been raised in church my whole life, so I've been a Christian my entire life, and the past couple of years I've been going through a theological shift, and I just wanted a place to document this process. So this channel was partly created to kind of push me beyond my initial skepticism, to force me to study these topics more deeply, to see if they withstand the scrutiny, but also just as a resource for others like me. And the topic that put this whole channel into motion is the topic of hell and the three different biblical views that were held in the early church. And this is a concept that I didn't even realize existed until a couple of years ago. Essentially, there were three views that were held about the purpose and duration of hell through the first 6 centuries. And I actually did a video on this, which I'll link below. Any belief should be exposed to a pressure test to decide if it can hold up to the scrutiny, because if it can't, what is the purpose of believing in it? So we shouldn't be shying away from such questions for fear that they could collapse our ideological structures. In fact, we should invite these questions, because if those questions can collapse your structure, then you've built a faulty house. And you and I may arrive at different conclusions on many of these topics, and that's great. It's not actually my intent to convince anyone of anything, but rather I just want to lay out the evidence for my own claims as I pursue truth. And like I said, this channel is mostly for me to explore my own questions, because if I'm going to believe something, it has to make sense in my mind, meaning I have to have certain evidence to the claims that can satisfy those questions. And this is the path that we should all be on. It's easy to accept the programming we've all been exposed to and were taught in our formidable years. So we reject claims that are contrary to our own beliefs. But my goal is not to accept or reject claims, but instead investigate these matters looking at the evidence before I come to a conclusion, regardless of consensus or tradition. And as much as possible, I want to know the truth. And where I can't definitively know truth, I will just be at peace with the mystery and enjoy the discussion. And though I too can be guilty of dogma or rigid defensive posturing, my heart is to understand opposing views and to remove my ego and allow myself to be wrong or be corrected on topics. And that's where this channel comes in. I want to be able to share my understanding of the world around me. Though this idea initially came from me wanting to flesh out my own ideas on certain theological topics, I do want to expand it to topics beyond just that. Because I do have a lot of questions about many other topics, and I have a lot of opinions about those questions. So ultimately, my hope is that this channel will grow into something beautiful where people can have a forum to discuss potentially contentious topics in a very loving and civil way. Thanks for watching.